All right, friends. So we left off here yesterday. Okay. So if you have not glued this in yet, this should glue in on page 18. That's fine. We're gonna go over it. All right, y'all. The chatter's gotta stop. Come on. All right. So rotational symmetry is how many times can I take a figure and turn it so it lands on itself? Okay. So what I mean by that, if I have, yeah, let's draw on the whiteboard with your marker, not the whiteboard marker. Having a lovely day. Let's pretend that this is a really good star. Miss Smith can't really draw, so that's not horrible.
No, it's better than mine.
Okay. So, how many times can I take this star and it lands perfectly on top of itself? Every point, right? So I can turn it 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 times. Okay, that's what rotational symmetry is. Okay. So rotational symmetry, when a figure can be mapped onto itself by rotating it around its center at 180 degrees or less. Okay, so can I turn this triangle in 180 degrees or less and it map on top of itself? No. This one's a no. The only way to do it is to flip it the whole way around. Can't do that. Okay. What about this rhombus?
Yes.
She says, yes.
I was yawning as I said it.
You were yawning as you said it.
Like 180.
Yeah.
Exactly. Different at 90.
Exactly 180? I agree. It takes exactly 180 degrees to do this one.
And the next one.
Oops. 180 degrees. My pen slipped.
Well, if it's a regular, I guess.
Okay, the regular hexagon.
Yes.
Yes.
90 and 180. Well, if it's easy,
Bless you.
90.
This one's going to be a 180 as well. Okay. I can turn it so this point goes to this side and it lies perfectly on top of itself. Okay. Take a look at these next examples then. Determine whether the figure has rotational symmetry. If so, describe the rotations that will map it onto itself. So the first one. Yes. How many degrees?
Like 15.
Like 45.
90, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45.
I'm going to give you an easy way to figure this out.
50.
Okay, a full rotation is how many degrees? 360.
It's 60 degrees.
It is 60 degrees. How did you get 60, Elijah? Okay, there are 6 little sides to this figure. So if you take 360 and divide that by 6, every 60 degrees, it lands on top of itself. Okay. What about my next figure?
Yeah.
This one's also a yes.
What?
Yes. It's a regular pentagon. Okay, it's a regular pentagon. So this is a yes.
360.
It has to be 180 degrees or less. How many sides? How many points does it have? It has 5. So again, 360 divided by 5, every 72 degrees, it lands on top of itself. Because they're evenly spaced by 72 degrees. Okay. What about number 3? Yes. What degree is this one? 180. Okay. There's only 2. So 360 cut in half is 180. And finally, number 4. Yes, this one's also 72. There's 5 points here. That's what I was really attempting to draw, and it's really not that bad.
I still don't understand. I have a question.
Yes.
I still don't understand how the number 2 is here.
They're even.
It's evenly spaced, so every time you flip it, so if I turn it this way, that looks like the regular figure.
I think it's just because I know my glasses.
You just, because you don't have your glasses?
But I can't wear my glasses.
The people took your glasses back.
Because when they gave them to me, the lenses was already falling out. So I took them up there and they said they couldn't get them to stay, and said I had to ship them back.
All right. Take a look at this one. Okay. The regular, bless you, coordinate plane. Every quadrant was 90 degrees. This time on this picture, every section is 45 degrees. So every time I move, from outside to outside is 45 degrees. Okay, so a clockwise rotation of 45 degrees. So how many times do I need to rotate? Once. It's 45 degrees. Okay, 45 degrees once. So I want to start at A and go clockwise. So I'm going to be at clockwise. B. You must pay attention to clockwise versus counter. Okay, 6. This time I'm going 90 degrees. So I'm going 2 spaces. I'm starting at C and I'm going clockwise. I go to E. Okay, you must be careful with this one. This is giving us where we stop. We need to work backwards and get where we start. So I'm going 180 degrees. So how many spaces is that? 4. Remember, 45, 90, 135, 180. Okay, so it wanted us to go clockwise. Again, though, they give me my ending point. So I need to work backwards. I need to go counterclockwise instead. 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we should be at B. If I start at B, it takes me 180 degrees to get to F. Okay, does that make sense? When they give you the ending point, you actually have to go backwards from what they tell you. Okay. This one, I want to rotate 90 degrees. How many spaces is that? 2. Counterclockwise. So we're starting at H. Where do I end up? F. Good. Counterclockwise, 45 degrees. How many spaces am I going? 1. Okay, this time they give me my ending point. Where did I start at?
Looks like an E.
It wants, oh, is that B?
It looked like a B, that's why I said that.
I'm sorry. No, that's an E.
Oh, yes.
Sorry, that's an E. Okay, so E, remember, it gives me my ending point, so I want to work backwards. So instead of going counterclockwise, I'm actually going to go clockwise. So F should be my starting point. If I start at F, when I go counterclockwise, one space, that takes me to E. Always go back and double check yourself. Okay. Counterclockwise rotation of 135. So how many spaces am I going? 3. This time, they want us to end at A. So I need to go actually clockwise 3 spaces. So that takes me to D. Okay. Questions or problems? Okay. Your next page. We're doing, we said 19, 20, 21, and 22, right? For rotation or reflections. I need to make sure I'm covering the right pages. So 19, 20, 21, and 22. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. All right, so we're going to start with this page, friends. Okay? What I want you to do is cut out the outside edge. Trim off that edge first. Trim off that edge first.
Stop.
Can you cut the black right here? We're all extra. Yeah. And then you'll flap them over.
But you know that it's gonna be upside down.
Holy crap. My mom was convinced me.
Did I write it backwards?
Yeah, because when you open it like this, it's like this. I mean, I can do it
And she
upside down.
laughs at me.
I mean, I can do it like this.
We're going to have to just change the titles. I thought I was super smart this year and I got this all figured out. I feel super dumb now. Yeah, it's upside down. All right, so I will tell you this right now. I'm going to stuff on the printer and it's going to be upside down. And you're going to like it.
Yay.
Oh, please do not fall. I get it. I get it.
Or at least if you don't like it, pretend to do.
Don't fall, please.
Don't hurt yourself like Rebecca likes to do.
When's the last time?
I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, oh my God.
I am so sorry. I thought I was super slick this year when I did that. Okay. Once you cut the outside edge, the titles are going to fold into the middle. And we're going to have to fix the titles because Miss Smith messed up.
Good job.
Oh, they are.
Good job, Miss
I
Smith.
messed up all the time. It's okay.
Yay.
Mistakes only help you learn.
That's right. If you didn't make mistakes, you'd be perfect, and there's not one perfect person in this world.
It's you.
It's me?
Yeah.
Yay!
Why is she perfect? Nobody's perfect.
Nobody's perfect.
But this feels like high school music now. We can stop singing.
You know those are like some of my favorite movies ever, right?
Really high school music. But they used to be about jump, but I was like,
I hate
Okay. Once you fold your titles. Guys, I know it's Friday, but we need to like focus, zone on math class. Happiness. Okay. Once you folded it, You also need to cut the little dotted line in between your titles. So you've got 4 lovely flaps that are upside down.
You mean the
Wait,
whole
you
line?
mean the solid line?
That's not
I'm sorry.
Oh,
The
we're not
dotted
saying
line
that.
was the fold, my bad. The solid line in between the titles. I need to step back. Let me step back and check myself.
It's okay.
I will check myself before I make myself.
We can just learn to read upside down.
That's right. All right. We're also going to write in this one before we glue it in because it'll be a heck of a lot easier in life. And I lied, we're gonna tweak your page numbers a little bit. Because I gave too many pages for some reason this year. I don't know why. So let's do this one and then we'll glue it in. All right, so a reflection. What was another word for reflection? An easier word, you can remember. Flip. Okay, so your figure flips around. All right, so okay, so these front 2 flaps, I'm gonna need you to fix the titles here. Okay, so this is not a reflection in the line y equals -x. This is a reflection in the x-axis. So please fix this title because it's upside down. This one should be the y-axis. Okay, I just need you to fix the titles because when I screwed up making the copies, the ones at the bottom should be at the top and the ones at the top should be at the bottom. So this needs to be the line y equals x down here, and this one needs to be y equals -x. Okay, so all I need you to do right now is fix your lovely titles because of my lovely mistake. Okay, so all I did was change the titles. These are still all reflections, so you don't have to fix that part. You just have to fix the part in what we're reflecting it over. I am so sorry. I may be crazy enough to reprint this for Monday and then you guys can pull it out and fix it because I'm just that crazy. I might end up doing it. It will cause me stress to have to look at this upside down. Listen, we will get this all under control.
This page is already messed up. So I sent this page back.
All right, so hey, guys, we cannot continue with all this crazy chatter today. I love you, but we've got lots of stuff. All right, so please open up the first flap that should be reflecting over the x-axis. So where is my x-axis? Which axis is that? My horizontal or my vertical? X-axis. Thank you. So this is your x-axis. Okay? I don't care if you want to highlight it or just darken it in, whatever you want to do. Make it all nice and pretty. So, I'm going to teach you the old school way that you should have learned in middle school when you did this. Then we're going to talk about the rule. So, right now, we start with the point 4, 2. So, that's 4 to the right and 2 up. There's my first point. So, we'll label it A. Okay, we'll make that A. So when I reflect over a line, I have to be the same spaces away from the line. So right now, to go from my point to this line, I have to go 1, 2 spaces. Okay, A is 2 spaces away from that line. So to draw my new point after reflection, I need to go another 2 spaces. It has to be the same distance in between the points. Hello, Miss Harvey. Thank you, ma'am. Okay, so we need to go the same distance. So from this point, I should go another 1, 2 spaces. And here is my new point. So we'll call this A prime because 1 transformation has happened. We have reflected. It's a little apostrophe. That means prime. Okay, it's a little apostrophe. So for instance, if 2 transformations would happen, that point would be A double prime. If 3 transformations are happen, we throw another prime there. 4 transformations, we throw another prime. Okay, so every time you see an apostrophe means that there has been another transformation. Okay, so where is my new point A prime?
4, -2.
4, -2. Okay, so if I would have started -6, 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, why did they not leave me enough space? 6, we'll make this B. Whoop, sorry, that should be +1. I should be up here, my bad. That's wrong. Ignore my dot. Okay, so B is 1 space above the line, so my new point should be 1 space below the line. So -6, -1 is B prime. Finally, -2, -4. So we start here. This is C. So this point is 4 below the line, so my new point should be 4 above the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we're at -2, +4. So what's happened? What's flipped?
Y.
Your Y.
Change it from
You change your signs of Y. Anytime you reflect over X, that takes you from the top to the bottom or the bottom to the top, which affects your Y value. So your rule here is X, change the sign of Y. Again, don't forget, that doesn't mean that your Y value is going to be negative. That means that your Y value changes sign. So if it started positive, it becomes negative. If it starts negative, it becomes positive. Okay. All right. So when I reflected over the X, that changed my Y values. So if I reflect over Y, it's going to change my X values. Fantastic. Y'all are too smart for your own good. Okay. So we reflect over this line now. So just like it happened on the other side where your Y value changed signs, this time your X value is going to change signs. So it started here at 4, 2. It goes over here to -4, 2. So your rule is -X, Y. Okay, so what's going to happen to -6, 1? Change your X.
6, 1.
6, 1. Good. 6, 1. So again, it started way out here, and it's now moving way over here. And finally, -2, -4 becomes 2, -4. So it started here, and it's moving over here this time. So reflections in the axis. If it's the x-axis, it changes the sign of y. If it's the y-axis, it changes the sign of x. Okay, so it always changes the opposite. How do we feel about that so far? Good, good. All right, your next roll. Down at the bottom. Y equals x. Yes, sir. Hurry up, friend. Think about y equals x. What order is my equation in y equals x? What comes first? Y. What comes second? So we're flipping over the line y equals x. So my point is now going to be y, comma x. Okay? This is an easy one to remember too. It's the order that this is in. Okay? So y comes first over x. So the line we're actually reflecting over is the line that goes here. This is what I'm reflecting over. Okay? I'm reflecting over this line. So I'm also going to show you, because you can count these. It's a pain a little bit. So if you don't remember this rule, it's a little bit of a pain, but we've got this. So normally we start at 4, 2, right here. Okay, this is A. Okay, remember, a reflection is over the line. So if I go from A to my line, that's one space diagonal, right? Everybody can visually see it takes one space up to the left. Okay, we need to keep going then. I need to go one more space to here. And this is A prime. And this is 2, 4. So the signs don't change at all. If it had a negative, the negative goes with it. All you do is take your points and go whoop to the other side. So -6, 1 was way out here. My new point is going to be way out here at 1, -6. And -2, -4 started me off here. It's now going to bring me here at -4, -2. This is probably one of your easiest rules to remember. And I only like it because the point literally goes in the order of the line that you're flipping it over. Okay, so you see y first, x second. Any questions on y equals x? All right. Let's open up to this side. Y equals -x. So instead of my line going up and to the right, we now have a negative slope. So it goes down to the right. So my line of reflection flips this way. This is my new line of reflection. Y equals -x. Remember, your slope is -1, so that means it goes down 1 and to the right 1. So now let's see if we can get this rule in one step. So again, my point starts at 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2. That puts A here. So let's head on down to our line of reflection. This is a diagonal, so we got to go on a diagonal. So we go 1, 2. It takes me 3 to get to my line. If it's a reflection, I've got to go the same amount of spaces. So we go another 1, 2, bless you, 3, and here is A prime. What is this point? -2, -4. Okay, so you change the signs of both. What else happens? You flip it. Okay, so we still flip it. Y should come first, X should come second. And we have to change the signs of both this time when I flip it. So that means -6, 1. Flip your points. So 1 should come first, 6 should come second. Okay, 6 started negative, so it becomes positive. 1 started positive, so it should become negative. So my new point is -1, 6. So again, it started over here as B. Now we're at -1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We're up here at B prime. So -2, -4. They both need to become positive, and my numbers need to switch. So we're now at 4, 2. Look at that. If you look at the top one, we started at 4, 2, where this one ended, and we ended at -2, -4, like this one started. They switched spots. So this started as C, and this is my C prime. You don't even have to draw those ones. They just flip-flop. Okay, so these are going to be your 4 major roles of reflection. Okay. All right, I want you to glue that towards the bottom of page 19. Because we're going to cut this out and glue it at the top, the little reflections page. So if you want to cut this out and glue it at the top as well, we can do that. I do apologize too. My allergies are really getting to me today, so I'm like sniffling and coughing, and I'm not sick. It's my sinuses this time. I might have gotten you sick because I was sick last week. I might have shared the love. I was sick, and my daughter was sick all weekend. We shared the love. Welcome back to school.
Did you have like a really bad headache?
Yes.
You did?
Like, I called my husband. He had to come out and pick up my daughter and drive my car with her in it because, like, I was sleepy on to drive. And I made him follow me home.
Was it like
Because it was like a massive migraine right in front of my head.
that was yeah.
Then my throat started hurting, and I couldn't breathe through my nose, and all I wanted to do was sleep. Yep. I shared my love with Shelby.
How long did it last?
I was okay after like a couple of days. I don't like to not be able to breathe through my nose. Because then I have a hard time sleeping. Because then you wake up in the middle of the night and your mouth's all dry because you had to sleep with your mouth open.
Did you have issues sleeping while you were sick?
Yes.
Yeah, that.
I always do. So, page 19 should look like this when you're finished.
She is kind
It was awful. Like any little bit of light hurt.
And my eyes are already like this. It was worse.
No, it's not.
That's right. Don't tell her that because you don't know what she's doing.
Yeah.
You're not her.
I used to wear mom's glasses all
It's hard to let them.
What?
I can't find my first stuff.
but it was really bad.
All right. So this is your definition at the top. A reflection is a transformation. Okay, it's a transformation that uses a line like a mirror to reflect an object. Okay, so always think about that line like a mirror. If you're looking at a mirror, you're staring right back at yourself. That's what that line does. Okay, it causes the two objects to stare right back at themselves. A reflection is an isometry. And again, all that means is it does not change size or shape. Okay, it is congruent. So if you need to make a note that this means the figures are congruent, please do so. Do not forget what that means. The figures are congruent. And if you want to draw yourself the little congruent symbol so you remember what that means as well, that little squiggle with an equal sign under it means that the figures are congruent. I don't know, maybe, since I've mentioned it like 17 times. I guarantee you, somewhere on this test, you will see the word isometry again. Whoa. All right. We're going to start with this one. Okay? Because not all of these are the same that we just did. The first one is, though. So, we want to reflect over the line y equals x. Okay? So, y equals x. What is my rule? Put the order of the points, just like you see it in the equation. Y comes first. Woo! What did I just kick? I'm like spinning around in circles. I'm like, I know I just hurt. Woo! Yes.
What did you say right now?
It means the figures are congruent.
What was the symbol?
It's a little squiggly and then an equal sign underneath it. All right. So you said my rule here, y equals x. So if you know the rule, you don't need to draw the figure. Sometimes it's easier to draw and count. If you know the rule, you don't need to. So.
I'm going.
There is the fire alarm.
We already have a drill.
No, we had
We need one every month, so.
It took it last month.
Yes. Oh gosh. I got it. Go. You're more funny than me.
was like, we left the door unlocked.
Cody, will you take your box that is very
And class is already over. We don't have to do anything.
Watch her, she's so
Still.
Guys, there's no recording, so let's get in. Come on in, have a seat. We need to finish up here.
We were in the
We are still recording. Let's go.
We were in the fire drill, guys, so that's why you couldn't hear nothing. Because there was a fire drill.
No, the fire marshal is here. Watch the fire marshal. The fire marshal is here. Which is why we're. All right, guys, we only have about 15 minutes left, so we have got to get going, friends. So, okay, I need you to stop. We need to cooperate. We need to get through this, please. Okay, reflecting over the line, y equals x. You told me that my rule was to take my points and flip it. So 0, 4 becomes 4, 0. 2, negative 2.
2.
Careful, we just flipped. Right, make sure you take the signs with it. So negative 2, positive 2. The only time you change signs is if it's a reflection over y equals negative x. That's when you change the signs. So here, 3, negative 1. Good. Okay. This next one is going to be a little bit of a new one for you. We've not done this one yet. Okay. So this time we're not flipping over a specific axis or a specific diagonal line. This one is y equals 1. So I always draw this one. I think they're easier when it's a line like y equals 1 or x equals negative 2. So I draw my line of reflection on this one. Y equals 1 means to find 1 on your y-axis. So that is here. Your line goes through the y-axis. So this is a horizontal line. So this goes like this. Here is your line of reflection. Okay, so I think these ones are easier to draw it and count. So negative 1 starts me off here. Okay, remember, go from that point to the line of reflection. So that's 1, 2 spaces. So we need to continue on 1, 2 spaces. And here's your new point. So my new point is at negative 1, positive 3. Okay, 1, 0 started me off here. We're 1 below, so now I need to go 1 above. 1, 2. Make sure you do x first. You're right. Yay. Negative 2, 3. Negative 2, 1, 2, 3. So this started me up here. I'm 2 above my line. I need to go 2 below. So negative 2, negative 1. Okay, so if you're the logical way of thinking and you like this way, think about it this way too. So My y started at -1. To get to +1, I've got to go 2 spaces, correct? -1, 0, 1. So then I need to go 2 more spaces, so that takes me to 2 and 3. This became 3. So if you're good with that kind of stuff, run with it. If not, always resort back, draw your line of reflection, count your dots, okay? All right, down here, reflects over the x-axis. So what does that change? If I reflect over the x, it changes your y's. And all it does is change the signs. Good. So 4, 5 becomes 4, -5. What about the next one? It stays the same. 0 is neither positive nor negative, so it doesn't move. -1, 0. Because it's already on the reflection line, so it doesn't move. Okay, last one on this page. Y equals -x. What do? Flip it and change the signs. So, -2, -1. Good. This flips and becomes -2, -1. Okay. 0, +2, and +4, and -1, friends. Too easy. I need to make this harder? Okay. This goes in on page 20, friends. Page 20. De nada. I took 3 years of Spanish. You can get basic phrases out of me. So I know like, hola, ¿cómo estás? No, but I can do the case of we.
I can't do it Mondays.
Just like
Lunes, martes, miércoles, jueves,
I can't say it.
something, sábado, domingo.
I know what they are, but I can't say them.
All right.
Do we also go the other one?
Yes, if you would like to glue this one in already too, this one glues in on page 21. Okay. Here. We may not get this entire page shut. Okay, because the fire alarm kind of messed us all up. So, actually what I think I'm going to do with this one is we're going to do a couple of them, and then I'm going to let you work on the rest of them. The homework you have for tonight, I am going to pass out. It's going to also glue in your notebook. It goes in on pages 22 and 23. It is the quiz review to get you ready for Monday. So please try it. Come with any questions that you have on Monday. We will go over it and then we'll quiz. Okay. All right. So the ones I want to go over here are the ones that we didn't have rules for. So we're going to start with number 2. Number 2. Okay, so when you have ones like these, again, draw your line of reflection. My line is at y equals 3. So you want to find 3 on your y-axis. 1, 2, 3, that is here. And you're going to draw your line of reflection. If it is y equals, that means it goes through your y-axis. So there it is. Woo -woo. Okay. Find 3 on your y. So from your origin, count up 3. And because it's y equals, that means it goes through your y-axis, which means it is a horizontal line. I used to have really cool things up here where it said horizontal above the door and it said y equals, and then it said vertical down the side and it said x equals. Yeah, the kids ripped them off. So. I also have to cover them up for your final too, so it's not like, you know. Okay. So now you need to count. L is 2 spaces below this line, so the new point is 2 spaces above. So it goes here. This is L prime. What point is this? What's the coordinates? You're fine. -3, comma 5. So this is -3, comma positive 5. Okay, make it easy on your life. Count your points. You started 2 spaces above. So it needs to go 2 spaces below. So it goes where L was. This is U prime. That's at -3, 1. Fantastic. And finally, X is 2 spaces above. So it needs to go 2 spaces below. It goes down here. So this is X prime. So we're at 0 and 1. Remember, this is your origin right here. If you need to mark it, okay? So your picture has flipped, and now it looks like this. Wow. Radical? Okay, the next one. Y equals 1. Again, find 1 on your y-axis and draw yourself your line of reflection. Okay. That is a really bad line, especially on the right-hand side. It kind of went like, whoop. Listen, I didn't have a roller. It's okay. All right. I right now is 1 space below my line, so it needs to go 1 space above. Here is I prime, and my point is -5, comma 2. -5, comma 2. Okay, remember, this is your origin. Again, if you need to mark it so you can see it and remember it every time, do so. Right now, T is 3 spaces above. It needs to go 3 spaces below. Here is T prime. So we're now at -4, -2. And then finally, Y is 1 space above. It goes 1 space below. 0, 0. Okay. All right. I'm going to stop there. You would do the same with number 6. Okay. But this time, they don't give you the dots already. Draw your original dots in first. Draw your line of reflection. Find your new points.